Anyway, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just ran
Everything
and got
good?
myself a cuppa.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. I've got myself a little drink as well. Hopefully, last time I did a live, I got kicked off because we were on it for too long. So I must make sure I keep like an eye on the time.
Of course.
So, where would you like to start?
Well, I thought I would read out your little blurby bit on your website and then get you to elaborate and talk a little bit about you and your business and stuff.
Sure.
So, bear with. Right, there we go. So, welcome to anybody who's joining us. I'm Emily. I'm an astrologer. I'm a tarot and oracle card reader. And I am joined by the lovely Gemma from Birdsey Belizaire. And I'll just read out a little bit. So, Gemma is a maker and the creator behind Birdsey Belizaire, a vegan hand-poured candle and home fragrance shop with a focus on self-care. She sells handmade small batch candles, wax melts, and reed diffusers, which are all vegan friendly and cruelty free. So, tell us a little bit about you, Gemma.
I mean, it's a bit weird when someone reads back something you've written and it's like, oh, that sounds a bit stranger than somehow like it's like hearing your voice on a recorder. It sounds a bit bizarre, like when you hear it back.
Aww.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to make sure that people knew that like it was vegan and cruelty free. Just because I don't think when you buy a candle you should have to worry about that. Like there's nothing, it's not like a burger. So I don't see the reason why like cruelty free and vegan should be on there. Like I would have assumed all candles would have been that way, but they're not. So when I was doing it personally, I just wanted to make sure that everything was natural and vegan and cruelty free and environmentally friendly as a standard, just across all of my products. So yeah, that was like the main point I wanted to get across with what you've just read just there. But yeah, I just think, you know, it's a candle. It shouldn't be causing anybody any guilt trip. So all of my candles and wax melts are completely guilt free. You can the guilty pleasure you don't have to feel guilty about.
Oh, I love that. You should totally use that somewhere in your branding.
Should I? Okay, I'm making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and a bit about me. Well, most of you will know me from Wish Art Studios, my other shop. So I started this shop last year and it sort of started and then it went on a bit of hiatus because I was at uni and other things were going on and it was a bit like, so I put the brakes on it a little bit, but now I'm back in full force with candles. Yay. So I'm very excited.
And I can see, just for people that don't know anything about Wish Art Studios, which is Gemma's other business, you can see she's wearing beautiful earrings, all about sort of being yourself and sort of no limitations and creativity. And
yeah, this is my Live with Pride collection. So it's all about basically an open love letter to the LGBTQ+ community that has a special place in my heart. But yeah, that's Wish Art Studios, yeah. But BirdseyBelizaire's not that far off, but just doesn't have rainbows, or at least not yet. I might squeeze in a rainbow every now and then.
It's still all about, though, being yourself, isn't it? It's holding yourself accountable for being authentic, isn't it? And it's kind of, why not celebrate the wholeness of who you are? And
absolutely,
that kind of leads me onto our kind of main topic of the whole discussion. And obviously, stick around with us till the end so you can see a little bit of what Gemma's launching soon. But yes, so that leads us onto our topic of self-care in general. So what does it mean to you?
What does self-care mean to me? I think we have a horrible negative association with like anything that's about us or feeds us or is like taking care of us. As selfish is very much the negative word. So I don't like that. I think, you know, the only way that you can be unselfish and generous and kind is if you take care of yourself first. So yeah, I like to call it self-full instead of selfish. So if you're like running around trying to give to other people and you're not filling your own cup up, like, you're just going to be running empty. So you need to keep your cup full, and that's something that I believe in and that I try and live by. But yeah, so it's just about products that will help you take time for you and making sure you're whole and healthy and cared for, and make sure that, you know, you really put you in the center, because, you know, you are the main character in your own story. You're not some side chick. Like, come on now, focus is on you first. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think about, like, self-care is just anything that helps you achieve that. So whether you like to draw or color in or read a book or get in a hot tub and soak your troubles away, light a candle, or go for a walk outside, like, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as what it is fills you up and makes you feel whole.
Yeah.
That's the most important bit, like, about it. So yeah, that's my little, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, stay on it, you're doing well. Love it. Yeah, then something that I was going to pick up on, actually, you were talking about sort of filling your own cup and things. I was thinking, well, actually, there is something that I've always kind of tried to live by as well. There's, I can't remember who said it, but there was a quote that said, fill your own cup and nourish others from the overflow. And I think that somewhere it kind of links back to the Bible, because I think there is something in there. But I'm not somebody
over. That's the verse. Yeah. Yeah. I just think what comes out of the cup is for everyone else, but what's in the cup is yours. So you have to keep your cup full. Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember hearing someone, and their name completely is forgotten by me now, but she said something very amazing about keeping your cup full. And she said, when you give to the extent that you sacrifice yourself, you make the other person a thief, because they're stealing from you what you need and they don't know it, because you're giving it away for free. And then I was like, okay, so keeping your cup full is making sure that no one else robs you of something that's yours.
Yes.
So it's like maintaining your own joy, because you can't give what you don't have, and you need to be full in order to give to other people in, like, the best way you can. Because if you try and give when you've got nothing left in your cup, then you're just making other people liable for your unhappiness, and that's not fair.
No. Also, we're in Cancer season, so for anybody who loves astrology and the elements and things, which is something I absolutely love, then Cancer is a water sign. Water is all about being intuitive, and it is about nourishing yourself and nourishing others, and it is ruled by the moon. So being ruled by the moon, it's kind of that internal self, and we all need to think about our internal world. It's not just the emotions that you show, energy in motion. Yeah, that is purely what it is. It's all about how we, as you said, how we look after ourselves first.
Absolutely.
If you don't look after yourself, you've got nothing to give to anyone else, because you will effectively get to burnout. And it's kind of, we need to really be looking at how we do that, especially in the season now and getting into summer, and you want to have all that energy at the height of summer, don't you? So, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, so what does self-care mean to you?
Oh, good question. So I always nourish myself with working with the elements on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I have a shower, I chant in the shower. So I chant to lots of different sort of Indian gods, goddesses sort of thing. And so I look at Durga for earth, and I look at Sarasvati for air, and she's all about music and related to Neptune, which is our inspiration. And because it's about air quite a lot as well, that links into Gemini, and I'm Gemini sun and rising. So it's kind of, yeah, that's all of me. And then I need the earth being my grounded Capricorn moon. So I need to have some kind of something that makes things real, something to have purpose, something to kind of fulfill a larger spectrum of life and be, as you say, like a leadership in your own life, but also to leave a legacy for people to come who would be in your wake, as it were. It's kind of, for me, the self-care is so important, though I'm not very good at it. Hence, when I know that I'm in creative flow, I'm in that flow state. Again, we come back to sort of that water feel. You're in flow, it's natural, and actually you spend 9 months in your mother's womb, or whoever created life for you, before you take your first breath into this world. And it's kind of, if I'm not nourishing myself, I'm still doing the world a bit of a disservice by burning out. It's kind of, I'm trying to still strike that balance myself.
Definitely balance is probably the hardest thing to get right in like modern society and contemporary times, because there's so much we're aware of now. It's hard to be like living your life, but then you hear about like the war going on and environmental changes and poverty, and then the thing in America with women and the laws over abortion, and it's just you sort of, you can't live your own life anymore. You have to sort of, you're constantly aware of like everybody else and everything else that's going on, and it can be very draining. Like, as much as you want to be a conscientious person and care deeply for other people, there is only so much you can do, and there's only so much you can take. And it's like, you know, yes, we want to be activists, and we want to create the world that we want to leave and all that sort of thing, but if you don't have like that quiet me time, I like to call it, you will. Burnout is probably the biggest example of what happens when you don't take care of yourself. It's just, you just burn out because you can't sustain it. There needs to be a balance. There has to be an off switch. There can't be a constant on. Like, you can't always be aware, you can't always be present, you can't always be for other people. You have to turn off, and that's not selfish, it's self-full. Yeah.
I feel like we should just take a breath. Should we take a breath together?
Okay. I'm breathing.
Breath. That's better.
Better? You good?
It's like I meditate quite a bit as well. That is something I really do for myself. So
that's good. That's great.
I highly recommend it.
It doesn't even really matter what it is you do. It's just, as long as you take the time for you, like that, it can be, you could be taking your time for you in, like, as you're driving to work in the morning. Like, it could be whatever you want it to be. I think sometimes people think that self-care has to be like set physical actions or processes, and they think, well, I can't fit that in my life, so I won't bother. It's like, make it work for you. Like, you don't have to dedicate a month to like yoga just to feel different in your body. You can just take 5 minutes, 2 minutes, if you only have 2 minutes of the day, just to center yourself and feel grounded. And then you can go on with your busy day. Like, it doesn't have to be like a whole, this is going to take so much time and it's going to take so much money and it's going to be such an effort and I just don't have the time, and all the excuses that we like to use. But, you know, so whatever works for you. Like, it does not have to be something that is like, meditation is great, because no one says that meditation has to be longer than a minute. Meditation can be any amount of time you like. So if you have only like 2 minutes or a couple of seconds, like, that's fine. Like, there's no rule. There's no one saying, no, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly, and you've got to be doing it for like an hour and a half. Like, no one's saying that. So it's whatever you want to do. Just as long as you do it and you keep consistent with it. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's funny that you should mention yoga as well. I actually hack that into my life. So every morning, 6 minutes on my bed, I'll do some spinal twists and make sure that I'm matching movement and breath, which is basically what asana practice is, the sort of practice part of yoga. Whereas yoga itself is actually a way of life. It's not just asana practice. It is, you are being mindful, you're trying to show compassion to yourself and others. It's kind of the whole way of life. It's coming off the mat or the bed or wherever you are and into the world, and it's just showing that presence of being connected and being kind. That's all it is, really.
Absolutely.
People make it so much more complicated. It's really not.
No.
Breathing.
It's just about making sure you're remembering whose body you're in and nourishing that one first and not something else.
Yeah, definitely. And awareness, because awareness is that key point to any kind of change in our lives, isn't it, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but people are quite unaware of, I always think, like, you can't be aware of someone else until you're aware of yourself. And a lot of people get into relationships and they have these difficult relationships where communication is such an issue. And I'm like, you know, it's not that you're not aware of them, you're not aware of yourself. So how is this ever gonna work out if you don't become self-aware? You can't then be present in a relationship with somebody else. And it doesn't need to be an intimate relationship or like a partnered like a relationship. It could any relationship, every relationship. You'll always have a blockage with a person because you've chosen not to understand yourself first. And I think that's really important, and something that people don't tend to take the time to really accept and know themselves before they get into relationships. And then they end up, you know, sometimes I've known friends of mine who've got into relationships, and when they've ended, they just don't know who they are. And they've got no sense of self. And it's like, well, when was the last time you took yourself on a date? You know, took yourself out to lunch, or went to the movie by yourself, or read a book, or went to the cinema. Like, when was the last time you took yourself on a date? Like, you got to start with you first.
Even just like reading a book in the garden when it's nice weather or whatever. Yeah. It's still something that takes you out of that rat run or rat race of life, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Can be whatever you want. Absolutely anything. And it does not mean anything if you choose to spend that time watching cartoons or writing a poem. Like, nothing is better or worse. Like, it's just, as long as you do something, it's fine.
So what kind of inspired you to get into creating your own things, whether it's Wish Art Studios or Birdsey Belizaire? What inspired you?
I've always been a creative person. I'm very, I learned a new term the other day, multi-passionate, which I quite love. It describes me quite well. So when you're super passionate about something, but you're not just passionate about one thing, your passions are multiple. And that doesn't mean that you're divided or not as passionate about one thing or the other. I just have always had the stretch, I guess, or the growth or the extension to be passionate about multiple things. To me, it's all one thing. But obviously candle making and illustration are two different things to so many people. But for me, I love being creative. I've always loved making, and I've always loved giving. I've always loved giving things, presents and cards and things like that. And that making something and giving it to someone, you know, that sharing, or that offering something to someone, that has always been like natural to me and like quite part of my nature. So nothing inspired me to do it. It's just who I am. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think some people are inspired by an event or a person. Some people are just are. And I think I just am that way.
Out of interest, do you know what your star sign or sun sign is?
I'm an Aries.
Aries?
Yes.
Okay.
Aries. Yes. But I'm right on the last date. So some of them I'm not an Aries and some of them I am. That depends, you know. 19th of April is like on the day it sort of cuts off. Yeah. So technically an Aries. I say technically only because I was premature and I don't know how that works. Like, is your star sign, if you were premature when you were born, is it supposed to be something else? If I was born later, would that have changed something? I don't know.
That's a good question. But yeah, it's kind of that moment where you enter the earth, as it were.
Yeah, I just love the idea that if I'd been on time, I would have been a different star sign completely. So it just makes me laugh.
So you're quite fiery then, which is why you've got all these multi-passions, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've always been more connected with water, but
so many questions about that, but I that would be a real huge digression for another day, I think.
Might have to make another chat, and when we can deep dive into.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I wonder if, I mean, I don't know what self-care, I mean, we know we've discussed what self-care is, but like you say you're not very good at it, so what are the things that you would do that you would consider that to be self-care?
Okay, so one thing I am actually really good at is journaling. So I'll look at something that, it could be a quote somewhere, or it could be a conversation I've had with somebody, which is kind of going back to the topics of the current issues that a lot of people are facing in America, but I'm not going to go too deep into it. But it's kind of, yeah, I had a friend who was quite upset with what was going on, and I was quite inspired to say that basically we all have choices in life, and it's up to us to decide what resonates with us and how we want to kind of be living our truth, really. And there's no one else that gets to decide that apart from us. It's our lives, it's our bodies, it's our mind, it's everything. It's kind of, why should we have any of that taken away from us by another person? It's kind of it comes back to a bit of the validation. If you're externally validated, you look to everybody else around you to say, oh, am I doing okay? Whereas if you are your own boss, your own kind of, your own comfort and your own person, you realize that actually, if I keep myself happy, I can actually be able to help other people. If I actually take care of something to do with me and my life, and I've got purpose, I know my why, then actually I can help people in a way that is authentic and a way that's honest and a way that's kind without depleting me. It's kind of, you know, to know that. And it's kind of, well, I know my why. I know that I've always been somebody that wants to show up and care for others, but I've worked within sort of health and social care, and that was depleting, and it was the wrong way of being caring. Whereas showing up and saying, well, actually, I've got some affirmations for you to help you notice your truth and notice that you're a kind, compassionate, loving person, and it doesn't matter what you've been through.
Mm.
Your worth and your value, no one else is going to deliver that in the same way as you do. So that is beautiful. And it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter your trauma. It doesn't matter any of that. It's who you are in this moment and your why behind it, your purpose. It's kind of knowing all that. I realized that actually I can show up more authentically, and I can deliver things in a way that is more aligned with who I am, and in a way that is more kind and compassionate to other people. And that's why I love doing astrology, and I love tarot. And we come back to cups again. That is kind of, cups is that suit all about water and intuition and everything we're talking about. It is self-care. And I love that image of like there's the 10 of cups. You've got rainbows over the top of it, and you've got 10 cups and people looking really fulfilled and happy and celebration and everything like that. And it's kind of, that's perfect for me. I just love to see other people being their best selves and showing up in joy, and whether there's any pain that they might have been going through or are still going through, if you've got someone there who's cheering you on, and you're cheering yourself on for actually having come through some of it, whether you're healed or not healed or just transitioning through whatever you're going through. It's just beautiful to me. I didn't realize I had so much that I needed to say.
It's all good.
Yeah, apparently there's something I needed to get out my system.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's out there now.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So, do we want to have a little look at, to start with, your diffusers, if you have any about, and then transition into your new launch?
Yeah, I don't have the diffusers with me because they're already in my shop, so they're not being launched. They're already available to purchase. I will say that they're going to change soon. Right now that they're customizable, and I'm going to change them slightly. So if you do like the idea of customizing crystals to scent, you will only be able to do that for a little bit longer. So just FYI. But yeah, no, I mean, the crystal diffusers are out, the crystals are out, and the wax melts are out. So it's what's launching is just the candles and the new heart melts. Yes, very exciting.
Go and tell us all about the scents and
okay,
what they smell like.
Well, we have two collections. One is an aromatherapy collection, and one is the self-care collection. So it depends. Which one would you like to start with?
Let's go aromatherapy first.
Cool. So the candles either come in one of these white tins, or in one of these frosted glass with the wooden lid.
Ooh, I like
so
that.
You can get them in two different sizes. Each one is of the aromatherapy. It's all the scents are the same. It's just literally that they now come in candles. This is Rest. I need this one. Which is lavender, ylang ylang, and chamomile, and it just smells amazing. I'm not gonna lie. So they all come in either the 150-gram mini tins or the 200-gram small glass candles. At the moment, I'm starting with the smaller ones, and then I'll work up to the bigger stuff. So you have that in Rest, Peace, Unity, Devotion, Boost, and Calm, which are all the scent names, and they all do pretty much what they say on the label. And then, but those ones are already out as either wax melts in the little melt pots, or I now have my clamshells in these little glassine bags, so it's less plastic and more environmentally kind to the planet. So that's that. The tins will just come in a little bag, a little Hessian bag. But the candles will come in a white box like this, and there'll be a candle in there like that. So the lids, the bamboo, they're real wooden lids, so they are quite pricey, so you can choose whether or not to have it with or without. So you don't have to have the lid if you don't want to, but all of them will come in the box if you go for the glass jar. This is Unity, which is,
what does Unity smell like? What is it?
It smells amazing. So it's orange, patchouli, and ginger. And it's a lovely boostful, kind of like boost, but more subtle. And it's got a really like warming feeling, like it's all very kumbaya and let's just get along, and that's why I called it Unity. Yeah, so those are the two candles that you will either get it. You'll either get it in the tin or in the glass jar with or without the wooden lid. And then we have the self-care collection, which literally are the same tin and then same glass with the wooden lid, but just different in that the aromatherapy collection is with essential oils and the self-care collection is with fragrance oils. So they are safe, synthetic, vegan, and still cruelty free, but they are made for candles. You have to put quite a lot of essential oil in to natural, like to the aromatherapy candles, to get them to smell and for that smell to last. And I like to have a good hot throw, which is what the candle smells like when it's lit. And to get that, I have to put in quite a bit of essential oil. So they're quite expensive to make, but I love them. Fragrance oil is just a safer way because you don't have to, oh, that smells so good. Sorry. You just don't have to use as much oil to make the candle. So it's just slightly better because you're not mixing like as many, like, because with the essential oils, if you make them too hot too quickly, then they can burn off. And the whole point is to make sure that the candle has the right wick and the right wax and the right lit temperature so that the essential oils evaporate rather than burn off. So you can inhale the aromatherapy and get it that way. And that's what the aromatherapy collection is about. So yeah, so there's 6 in the aromatherapy collection and there's 6 in the self-care collection. This one is Sandy Beaches. I know it's all reversed, but it says Sandy Beaches on it. Okay. And this one reminds me of St. Lucia, which is where my granny's from. We went on holiday there once when I was younger, and I've been a couple of times. So it's like coconut and jasmine and vanilla, and really like you're on a beach in the Caribbean Sea, walking down the bay, like the bay or like off the harbour or something, and it's just gorgeous. It's just lovely. And then the candles all come with little heart melts as well. So these are the little glassine bags, and in it is a little heart-shaped
I like it.
melt. And this one is Shoreline, which is the second fragrance in the self-care collection, and it's pretty amazing. It's like, I remember smelling it and immediately reminding me of like English summers, like I used to spend like, oh, that's so good, sorry, I get distracted, like English summers, like walking along the beach, like a pebble-stone beach. It's a little chilly to be on the beach, but it's England, so you sort of take it with a pinch of salt. And yeah, there's ice cream running down my arm, and there's stones crashing underneath my feet, and there's wind blowing my hair all everywhere. And this is what I smell, Shoreline. And it's just amazing. It's potentially one of my favorites, if not my favorite. My absolute favorite I'll come to, but yeah, that one is
So they really sell it to us. I like the experience of you.
Yeah, well, that was the whole point of the self-care collection. It was to transport you back to a time or a place or a memory that reminded you of happy, peaceful, content moments in your life, so that when you smelled them, you instantly feel the way you did in that memory. And that was the whole point of the collection. I was picking scents based on how do I want people to feel, where and when did they feel those things, and how can I make that in a scent, essentially. So with like sandy beaches, it smelled just like when I was on holiday. If you've ever been to any sort of like tropical holiday, like island or anything like that, that is pretty much what it smells like. And I loved the idea of someone going like, oh, you know, we've been in lockdown for like 2 years, no one's been on holiday in like forever. When was the last time you walked down a sandy beach and really enjoyed the smell of coconut? Like, I can't remember the last time I did that at all. But you could get this candle and you could light it and you could transport you back to that memory, because sense of smell is so iconically linked to like memory. And I just think if you smell something familiar or something that's attached to a memory or a place or a person, all of a sudden you instantly calm and you're living that memory rather than your present reality at the moment. And so if you're having a stressful day, work's been rubbish, or you and your partner have just had an argument and you think, I'm going to lock myself in the bathroom for like 20 minutes and just chill out, you can light a candle that can take you back to walks along a stony pebbled beach, or like this one, which smells paradise, which smells like a tropical rainforest. I'm not gonna lie. I've been to one, and they have bird of paradise flowers in them, and that's the top note. That's the top note in this candle, the bird of paradise flower. There's also got irises and like violets and things like that. And it just smells like the most beautiful tropical rainforest ever. Like, so if you've ever been on holiday, hiking through a rainforest or anything like that, you'll recognize this one. It's got all of those tropical plants in it. And I just wanted to have like these scents that sort of gave you like a sense of escapism.
Yeah.
And you could just light a candle and just be instantly transported somewhere else. And that was like the whole thing. I have another one. This is macadamia clove, which reminds me of my dad in the nicest way. Like, I think for a lot of kids, if you were in like your parents were like, if you were like childhood was like 90s 80s for you, a lot of male colognes had coconut and clove and macadamia nut as like an underscent, a baseline for a lot of the fragrance. So a lot of male cologne has macadamia nut and clove in it, so it tends to smell like a 90s man, which for me is like my dad. And I sort of remember like being really little and being cuddled and smelling the clove and the macadamia and that like nutty woody smell, that's like kind of masculine but not too heavy, you know, and like woody and warm. That's what it reminded me of. And yeah, so I picked that one because if you've never been to a tropical rainforest or on an island beach, you won't know what I'm talking about. But if you remember what it was like to be little and to be, you know, embraced by a family member or a father figure, that sort of comforting smell of embrace is what I sort of have named, like that's what I sort of think of when I smell that candle. Yeah, it's a lovely one for me personally. We have
I was just remembering our conversation with Sam, saying we can't say smells like your dad, but we could say it smells a bit like being embraced by your dad, or it's kind of, yeah, we can talk about imagining having George Clooney's arms wrapped around you if you're old enough to want to. It's like guilty crashes and all those things, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I remember. This one is Forbidden Fruit, which is a pomegranate, dark pomegranate scent. It's gorgeous. And all of them have the, you can't read it because it's backwards, but they all have the safety, never leave a candle unattended, don't leave them around pets and children. So it's all like labeled up correctly and everything. But yes, needs to be. Please do not leave your candles untended. Yeah, and that one is one of my favorites. It's quite a sophisticated scent, like quite classy. Reminds me of like when your mum and dad used to get dressed up to go out for the night.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't really sure how to, but it's a lovely scent. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just a pomegranate fizz. It smells like fizzing pomegranates.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, it's quite nice. It's quite light. It's sophisticated. More grown up, perhaps. A little bit more mature. And then very last, and I promise you I'm coming to the last one and I'll stop talking.
No, it's all good.
The last one is Amber Rose. Again, comes in the glass or the tins. But this is my hands down favorite. And to be fair, when I've had this like polled by people, it's been the number one. That and very close second place was Paradise. But this one smells amazing. I don't even know how to describe this to you, because nothing I say is gonna do this justice. It smells amazing. So it's got like obviously amber and rose, which is where it gets its name, but it's got like sweetened raspberries. And it just smells like the most amazing perfume, like the best perfume. Does it smell
quite summery then? Do you sort of feel like you're on a summer's day or something?
I feel like it's maybe slightly more autumn, because it's like got a heavy musk, but it's so it's like rich and indulgent and really perfumey. Like, yeah, but it smells so good, and I have no idea how to say this other than you just have to buy one. I mean, buy yours now. But it's one of my favorites. When I polled the scents at work, it was the resounding winner by a mile. Absolutely 100% my favorite scent. But these glass ones, I only have about one of each scent. I have started to make some more, but they are very, very limited stock. The tins I do have slightly more of, but still not a lot, because they all are small batch, like we talked about earlier on. They're small batch candles, and it's going to be, I don't want to create waste, so I will be making them like not to order, but pretty close to order. So much smaller batches. Also helps to keep quality control and things like that. But with every candle order, you will also receive a little sample that comes in one of these little bags, a little logo on it. And it's a little tea light. And this one's Forbidden Fruit. I don't know if you can see that. And
yes, just about, although reversed.
Just about reversed. Yeah, I know, it's so annoying. Why they haven't fixed that, I don't know. But when you order a candle, you'll get a little tea light sampler of another fragrance in this little bag. Little cotton, raw natural cotton, reusable drawstring bag. And yeah, so if they come in the glass ones, they'll come in this little white box, or the tins will just come in one of these bags that just are larger. And then yeah, and you get a little tea light sample with it as well.
Cool.
And that, I'm done.
So, where did Birdsey Belizaire come from?
Birdsey Belizaire, I named it after both my late grandmothers. It was their maiden names. So my
Oh,
mum's maiden name was Birdsey, and
mhm.
my dad's mum's maiden name was Belizaire.
Oh, okay.
So
Hmm.
I wanted to honor their memory and make it was about me. So obviously I am Wishart, but I'm also Birdsey Belizaire. So that was where I got the name from.
Oh, I love that. How it actually ties back again to the season of Cancer because we honor our ancestors. Yes, perfect.
Ah,
Oh,
that's a lovely way to end, I think. Just
oh
on that,
yeah.
just on that. I don't think that's going to get any better. That just sort of perfect.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you for
Thank
talking with
you.
me today, and I hope you've enjoyed it too.
Oh, I love this. This is amazing. And thank you so much for letting me blabber on. Sorry to cut your ear off.
No,
Yeah, but yeah, just thank you so much for joining me and having me on. And thank you for the questions. They were great. And yeah, I had a really great time.
cool. Well, I will try and record this and upload to YouTube as well to hopefully let other people see it and things.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. Alrighty then. Take care.
Bye.